Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Welcome to Gamer Tag Radio, episode 1181. This is your host, Danny, and joining me here on GTR, co-host of the show, Paris. He's back. What's up, Paris?
What is going on, man? How you doing?
Paris, it's been a long time since we recorded together.
I know.
And it's even worse. We haven't recorded together as a group with Pete in it's been I think months. So
well, blame Pete. He out there in the Caribbean, Venice, friggin' Tahiti. He's everywhere. So that's his fault, not mine.
Now, but we have one more episode before we take vacation for the holidays. But that episode we're going to be recording is our Games of the Year. Game of the Year episode. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well,
a lot of fun.
Well, I can definitely say there's a certain game we're about to talk about that might be showing up on that list.
Ooh, and that's Halo Infinite. Not only the campaign, but also we'll talk about the multiplayer. So this is going to be our official review. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes. But first, head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. You could also find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. We're there. Follow us, subscribe, or even post a review. If you would like to send us questions, feedback, here's how you can contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, Paris, we got to talk about Halo, man. It's been years that we've been talking about it. And even last year, we thought it was coming out at launch, and then the game got delayed. And first things first, I got to say that it was the right decision after playing this game. I think it was smart for 343 making that decision. And the game looks great. Beautiful campaign and multiplayer. So just want to throw that out first because I think that's very important. But I know you, Paris, for a while, you've been saying that this game needs to be good.
No, needs to be
great. Great. Sorry, great.
Yes.
It needs to be great. Now that the game is coming out in a few days and we've been playing it. Now, I think you've been playing it longer because you've been trying it out since the preview a couple of weeks back. What are your thoughts overall? And we'll go from there, man. And we'll talk about the campaign.
So, I mean, overall, and no spoilers in this, obviously, and trust me, there's story things in here that you want to experience for yourself. So I would advise everyone listening to this, when you get it on the 8th, try and avoid being online as much as possible. Avoid all story spoilers because you definitely want to go along for this ride and get to the ending. I've been saying for a while when it comes to the campaign of Halo, it can't just be okay. It has to be great. I need to care about these characters like I did during the early days of Halo, where the story has always been about Master Chief and Cortana, right? I feel this gets very close to being great from a story standpoint. There's a few stumbles along the way, especially kind of the middle portion of the story. I feel like it kind of slows down and then it ramps back up at the end. But this is absolutely worth your time playing. If you're a fan of Halo, you're going to enjoy this immensely. If you're new to the Halo series, there's enough here that's going to pique your curiosity that you're going to want to go back and learn some of the legacy story, from the previous Halos as well. I think the decision for Zeta Halo to be, it's not truly an open world. And I know it gets this Far Cry comparison a lot, but kind of think Far Cry in this way, but not an exact carbon copy of Far Cry, where they're giving you this big open space that you can explore. There are going to be certain objectives that you can hit, things that'll push the story forward, side missions, things of that nature. But they're giving you the Halo sandbox, the classic Halo sandbox on Zeta Halo. You're getting all the different weapons that you can use. Obviously, the vehicles that you can use. Honestly, I was going on foot a lot versus using the vehicles just for exploration reasons. But that and they coined this back in 20 years ago, that 30 seconds of fun, it is absolutely there. Whether you're tackling a specific objective, whether you're just roaming around Zeta Halo, there's always going to be something that you can encounter and engage with and have fun with and do it in unique ways, especially when you start going after the fobs. You start doing some of the actual specific, I'm blanking on the name, the specific mission, objectives that you have to do, to push the story forward. You get to tackle those however you want. And I think that's the beauty of this. There's no specific way that you can do it. I've at this point, because I played from start to finish on the Series X, and I started again being able to play on PC. I'm maybe about halfway through on PC. And it's been so interesting because on PC, I'm doing everything completely different than I did on the Series X. And I love it because that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of this campaign sandbox, being able to, like I said, tackle things in unique ways and having that 30 seconds of fun loop over and over. I want you to jump in because I feel like I'm just talking.
No, it's all good.
A second, but I'll just close. I'll close by saying this, and I'm sure we'll go into this more. I've said a million times, it can't be okay. It has to be great. It's not okay. This is a fantastic game. Does it hit that greatness peak of Halo for me? Almost. If I had to rank Infinite in my hierarchy of Halo games, I think I probably put it third. I do. I think I probably put this behind Halo 2 and Halo 3 for me. I think it's there. I think where the story goes, you're going to want to go back and continue to play. And I keep talking, but I'll say this final thing.
It's all good. It's all good.
Where I think what I thought wasn't going to be a big deal is a big deal. We don't have co-op at launch.
That's the problem.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is when I thought it was like, oh, okay, you'll get it in February or whatever, no big deal. But now that we're finding out we're not going to get the co-op until May, I ran into so many, and I played on Heroic, by the way. I ran into so many scenarios. I'm like, man, I would love to crank this up to Legendary and jump in with 3 of my friends and let's just chaos. That I want that. I'm missing that. I need that. I feel like that's the one thing here where I'm like, if they had co-op and I could go play on Legendary with my friends, I might tick it back up to great. Right now, I feel like it's right below that. If I had to put this on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this an 8, maybe 8.5.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. And I really want this to come out even sooner because there's a lot of places to explore. There's a lot of audio logs that you could discover in the game, and I've been finding them by mistake. Actually, just running around, I'm like, "Hey, I hear that sound. Let me see if I can find it." I'll go over the place until I find the audio logs because you're also getting 2 audio logs. So this from the good side and the bad side. You'll find it, and you'll find out more throughout the game. But anyways, I was gonna say this, Paris. Like I think the game starts so strong, and you're right, and I totally agree with you. I think like around Act 3, that's when things slows down, and then after that, towards the end, it comes back again, and it's a lot of fun. But I want to mention this: that once you finish the game, you could explore. You go back and you could explore again, and if there's like any missions that you haven't finished, because I completed every single mission was available there, unless new ones pop up. I haven't done that yet, but have you tried that too, Paris? Like gone back to see if there's anything that you missed, or you just start from scratch from the beginning for you?
Well, yeah, because I played in the preview on Series X, but then for the review period, I got the PC version, and the save info didn't carry over, so I just started over completely. But you are correct. You can go back and grab a lot of the objectives. So I guess we kind of didn't explain that too much yet. So there's different things that you can do. You have the forward operating bases, which are the FOBs. That's kind of your fast travel points where you can capture these bases back from the Banished throughout the map, and that allows you to basically fast travel to different points on the map. Once you unlock those, the weapon, which is your quote unquote new AI, new Cortana, she'll now show you other objectives in that area. So there will be other bases that you can capture. There will be Marines that are like under duress that by the Banish, and you can go to that area and basically free them. There'll be targets that you can go after, like there might be a grunt with a specific weapon, or an elite, or a Banish chieftain or something like that, and they have their own customizable weapon. And once you capture that or defeat them, you get that weapon. But the beauty is you can now go grab that weapon from one of the FOBs at any point as well, because this is still classic Halo. You can only hold 2 weapons at once. So that's cool. And those weapons will have unique perks. You'll also find like the propaganda things scattered throughout the map. You take those down, and it's important that you go after these objectives for 2 reasons. First of all, you'll get valor from that. So that's kind of like experience points. And the more experience points you get, the more things you can unlock at your FOBs, right? So you get more weapons available to you, more vehicles. You'll get more Marines that'll spawn at these FOBs. So if you grabbed a Warthog or something, now you could have a team of 4 and you all drive out to another objective, things like that. And then there's the Spartan cores that are also scattered throughout the map. And Spartan cores are very important to go after, because that's how you upgrade your equipment. That's how, like the grapple hook, now you can get the electricity ability. The cooldown will be slower. Or if you get like the shield, you can upgrade it, to like the shield's like 40% more effective. Or you can get the one where it's the target sensor. And that's important in a few missions. Absolutely. And you can upgrade that to be more effective, more range, things like that. So those, for me, it's like a collectathon, but you're gonna want to go do them, because you're gonna want to upgrade Master Chief along the way, because the more you upgrade him with these Spartan cores, the more effective you can be, and the more unique things you can do with Chief when you're going after certain things and fighting certain enemies and these mini bosses that you'll have throughout the game.
Yeah, and do you agree with me with this, Paris? Could this be, how I say this, not in the beginning, but later, toward when you meet certain mini bosses, because there's bosses and mini bosses, I feel like this is like the most difficult game out of the previous Halo, if you put the difficulty high, of course. And the reason is, previously, when you fight an enemy, there is no health. It's just, you just shoot until you see them dead, right? This one, you see not only the enemy with their shield, but also the health. And I feel like it's challenging in certain moments. And I feel like I didn't get that previously in past Halo. Now for you, because you say you played in heroic, and I always start with normal and then I go heroic and then legendary. For you, Paris, heroic, how difficult was it for you? Because for me, I noticed, I could tell that it was very difficult. And that was just normal. And I could imagine playing this in a harder difficulty.
Yeah. I kind of talked about this during the preview. I have not played on normal, so I can't comment on that. I went directly to heroic because that's how I always play Halo solo. Mm-hmm. And this is definitely one of the more difficult heroic difficulties that I've encountered. It took me a minute to figure out strategies. I was dying a lot early on. But once I got the cadence down, like definitely going back and playing it a second time, it doesn't feel as difficult because I kind of know how to play it now. But, you need to learn how to, that grapple shot is so clutch for various reasons, obviously to get to certain objectives, the verticality of it, but you can use it as a weapon as well. Pro tip, I tell everyone, use that grapple hook. The Jackals were a pain in my ass early on, but you can use the grapple hook to knock their shield off. And then you can take them out. That's just one thing, but there's obviously other unique ways you can use the grapple hook as well. But the difficulty definitely feels ramped up on heroic, and I felt like I was having a challenge, especially with some of the boss encounters as well, or like even I'm saying you're going after those certain targets and you're running to like you run into like a banished chieftain or something, and I don't know, he's using God, I'm blanking on the weapon name, but like the hyper gun, right, or whatever, and it's just like almost feels like he's one shotting you, just crazy stuff like that. Or you'll have those banished brutes that are like the berserkers that just run at you, and if they hit you, it's almost like a one shot, dude. Stuff like that, you know. So yeah, it felt good. I wanted that challenge. I'm glad I was having that challenge. I didn't feel like I was just breezing through the game, you know, without, you know, any type of challenge happening towards me. I felt like I had to think, I had to strategize, you know, to go into certain encounters, which does bring me back to one of the negative things. This is why I wish they had co-op, because I would love to do those challenges on Legendary with 3 of my friends and just let chaos ensue.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, Paris, explore, because there's so many places you could go into the game. High in the mountains, you could just walk around, go to different bases, and just explore to see if we could find any of the audio logs, dude. Like, that's the thing that I want to do. But one thing I also want to mention, Paris, there's some moments that remind me of Halo 1, of like just the opening of the game, because this game starts so strong, Paris, so strong. But once you unlock the open world part of the game, playing against the enemies, it reminded me of playing Halo 1 for the first time, of like, wow, this AI is like super smart. They know what I'm gonna do. And now I feel like they're a lot smarter than the previous games too, man. So that's why I had to bring up.
Absolutely. And that's been a trademark of Halo since the beginning, is the AI. Like, I think the peak of that has been Reach, but this does feel like it takes it up another notch. I mean, you know, when you run into the Banished and you're going against some of the more higher tiered, like I said, the Chieftain brutes, or obviously even the elites, you know, from the Covenant side. Yeah, they're going. You think, oh, I'll just hide behind cover. Oh no, they will flank you. They will grenade spam you. They will get you out of cover. You know, I will even say, like I said before about the Jackals, do not underestimate them, because those are some sneaky bastards. Even the grunts now will not hesitate to hit you with a sticky grenade if you're not careful. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, the AI is really good in this. The difficulty in this, like I said, playing on Heroic was really good. And again, the gameplay loop itself, absolutely enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed it. I do feel, like I said before, from a story standpoint, you get into that middle part of the game, and I worried about this when I did the preview, and it kind of confirmed it in the review. It did kind of feel monotonous in the middle, where I was kind of just doing the same things over and over. But then you hit a story beat that kind of takes you in a different direction. They're like, okay, now I'm doing something else. So I will warn people, you'll get that middle portion of it. And that's probably, I don't know how long it took you, but it took about 20 hours playing the game, start to finish. So I would say probably around that 10 to 12 hour mark, you're going to hit a lull. And then it's going to pick back up again on the back end.
Now, my question to you: why you decided to walk around instead of using the Warhog or any of the vehicles? For me, it was more of like, I just wanted to discover more things, so that's why I would just walk around from one area to the next. Why? For you, what was it your decision?
No, same. I mean, that's the beauty of this, having Zeta Halo kind of be a quasi open world. You do feel a sense of freedom to kind of discover things on your own. And again, there's definitely a verticality to this with some of the mountain ranges and things like that. So I'm kind of using the grapple, like I'm not taking a mongoose up there. So I'm on foot and I'm using a grapple hook to kind of get to the top, certain places. And you'll even see with some of the objectives that you have to do, they're not in vehicle friendly areas. So it kind of encourages you to want to go on foot and explore and see things. And like I said, you'll see with the propaganda towers and things like that, you'll want to get off your vehicle and engage with that stuff. And then obviously, as you progress through and you start getting some of the flying vehicles, that's another way to explore as well and get to these places more quickly.
For you, because, I think now that 343 I think now this game is going to be like Destiny. We're going to get to see expansions There's going to be new content for multiplayer and also campaign. I definitely, I'm excited that they're still going to be adding more stuff for the future. I'm wondering if this is going to be a yearly thing, a new season thing, or are we going to get to see a new campaign years from now? Because I really overall enjoy the story and then overall enjoy the campaign, and of course, I love the multiplayer. But do you see we're gonna get to play another Halo campaign in years from now, or maybe next year?
I think so, because again, this is why it's called Halo Infinite, because I think there's going to be infinite possibilities on what they're going to be able to do. And again, with Zeta Halo, the way that it's structured, you can absolutely drop new content just into the world as it is without having to expand into like new environments and things like that. Here's my hope. I hope in May, when co-op drops, we get co-op specific missions. I would love that. I would love to be able to see things like that, certain objectives that encourages you to want to play them in a co-op setting. But absolutely, I do think we'll get new story beats and things that will happen, because that's why this was built the way that it was, with this, like I said, semi-open world sandbox. So you can have different possibilities and different scenarios that they're going to be able to drop into the game in the future. So I hope in 2022, I think it would be a mistake, and I understand with the way the world is in development that they may not be able to help it, but I would hope in 2022 in upcoming seasons we get new campaign content. It just makes sense that we would.
Now, here's the part that I'm like, why are they doing that? Is a new season in May? That's the part I'm kind of like, why so long? Why not every few months like other games? It could be 3 or 4 months, but dude, that's like, what, we're gonna get to see 2 seasons every year type of thing?
Well, again, and I always default to this because it's just a reality of the world. We have to understand that remote development is hard. Because of the pandemic. So I would imagine some of that factors into this. And they obviously want to make sure that when these things launch, it doesn't launch half baked, it launch very polished, which is another thing I will give 343 credit to. And look, the multiplayer has already been out, so we don't need to spend a lot of time on that. We talk about the campaign. The multiplayer, for the most part, other than, obviously the battle pass and some playlist stuff, is very polished. It's very, all right, it's ready to go. They're still calling this a beta, but it's really not, because this does feel like a 1.0 product. And I feel like with the campaign, for the most part, I had a couple audio dropouts. I saw a little bit of, pop in every now and again. But again, very polished. I didn't feel like this was some half-baked thing like, oh, man, they're going to need to patch this by December 8th because, this isn't ready. So and look, we've seen what has happened with other games recently. So if they need the time, give them the time. That's the way I look at it, right? Of course, I want new content quicker, but I just think game development's very hard right now with the current state of the world. So things get delayed.
No, totally agree. Totally agree with that. But yeah, Paris, I think, I know we haven't really talked much about the multiplayer, but yeah, dude, it reminds me of the old school Halo, man. The LAN parties, playing with friends. And the beauty part about the multiplayer is totally free, which is insane, Paris, for a Halo game, And I think the game is in a sweet spot right now, because not only you could play this game on Xbox One, but also the new current consoles and also PC crossplay. And I've been playing with the community. I've been playing with friends, and it's a great experience, man. It reminds me so much of Halo 2 and Halo 3 days, man. What do you think about that? Do you feel the same when you play the multiplayer?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is the spiritual successor to Halo 3. For me, I would say both multiplayer and honestly campaign wise as well. That's what this feels like to me. Like they've captured that nostalgia where Halo was at its peak at Halo 3. That was Bungie at the peak of their powers. And this gets it. This absolutely captures that feel and that nostalgia for it, but it also feels like a modern game at the same time. You know what I mean? So, no, absolutely.
Yeah. And what you would like to see for multiplayer in the future for you? Because I know we talked a lot of things that we would like to see for the campaign. One of the things that I would like to see is new playlists. If you don't want to play with friends. You just want to play solo against other players. I would like to see that in the future. I also would like to see a ranked version of that too, because I know we've been playing a lot of the rank 4v4 and also 12v12 with big team battle, which is it's a lot of fun. But there's a couple modes there that I'm not really a fan of. I can't remember the name of it exactly. It's the one where you have to like carry the batteries to the base. I'm not a fan of that one. I love Control, love Slayer, love Capture the Flag. Control is a lot of fun. But what about you, Paris?
I mean, for me, I'm a pretty simple guy. Give me big team battle all day. That's what I love, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the more important thing is like you're saying, and I can't remember the name of that battery mode either, but feedback. I mean, we're already seeing it, in the quote unquote beta stage where 343 is listening and they're tweaking certain things, like obviously with the slow progression in the battle pass. People have complained about, just not being able to control certain playlists of the different modes that we'll be able to get. And to me, that's the most important. If we're communicating to 343, letting them know what we do like and what we don't like, and they can obviously adjust accordingly. That's going to be the most important thing moving forward, because there's going to be new modes. There's going to be experimental things that they're going to try. Some of them will be good. Some of them won't, but as we continue to give feedback on what we like about them and what we don't, that'll kind of shape the future of multiplayer. And again, when we talk about delays, I mean, Forge sounds like it's not coming until the end of 2022. At this point, right? So we can't rely on that, where the community is going to be able to craft our own stuff. Early on, it's going to be up to 343 to shape the landscape of multiplayer and how it's going to look in the game.
One thing that I've been talking about with my brother, he's been mentioning this a lot to me, even before we started playing the campaign for the multiplayer side. Because my brother's a huge fan. He would play back in the days at MLG tournaments and etc. The early days of like Halo 2. He's saying a lot of the pro players from back then, everybody's back. Shout out to T-Square. I know Golden Boy also mentioned a lot. Like, dude, a lot of people are playing this from back in the days, man. It feels like the old school Halo, LAN parties, tournaments, all that stuff, man. So that's the part that at the end of the day, Paris, I think that's the most important part of the game, is that we're all having fun and we're having a great time, and it feels like the old school Halo. Now, is it perfect? No, but like you were saying, it's all about the feedback. There's something that you would like to report, mention that to the devs, and they're listening. They're taking a lot of notes. I know they have a Discord channel. You can also hit up them on Twitter and just tell them the things that they're working and things that are not working, and also requests for stuff that you would like to see in the future, new playlists, etc. Could I feel being so toxic online and just complaining and all this stuff online is not going to help make the game better. I think, like, I know it was like Destiny, Paris, where we played it when it launched, but a year later it was a totally different game, and I feel that's what we're gonna see with Halo Infinite, not only with the multiplayer side but also campaign side. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, completely agree with you, 100%.
So I mean, do you feel like a lot of old school players from back in the days are playing now Halo Infinite multiplayer?
Oh yeah, you're seeing so many people come out the woodwork, jumping in, playing this game, and that's the whole point. Because I do feel they've hit the nostalgia factor for old fogies like us to want to go play it, but it also feels fresh enough to get the new generation to want to jump in and play. And let's just be honest. As we go into the end of the year, it is probably the most polished new multiplayer game that's out right now. It just is. So I definitely give 343 credit for that as well.
And my question to you, because I know you brought up your son multiple times in the past that he's like, oh, Halo, okay. But now that Halo is out, the multiplayer, is he this is something that got his attention now? Because you're right. It's really hard to get the new generation to get into a game like this. But one thing that stood out to me, it's free. And honestly, this game doesn't really need Battle Royale. If they add it later on, that's fine. But for launch, I think this is perfect, in my opinion. For you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've talked about Battle Royale and all that. I tapped on being wrong about that one a while ago. but I mean, they're doing this is it feels and plays like Halo. And that's the whole point. You don't need gimmicks or any of that crazy stuff. Honestly, the only thing holding this game back right now, or the multiplayer back right now, it is free to play, all that's great, is the Battle Pass progression and the playlist choices. They got to fix them. And they know they got to fix them. And they've been open about that and they're working on it. That's what's holding it back, if anything, right now. But the actual, when you're playing, it's fun as hell. And that's the point. It's fun as hell. They got to fix the other stuff. You know, obviously the game technically isn't out yet, but, you know, give them the next month going into early 2022. Give them a little bit of time to get feedback, fix some of this stuff, and then I think they'll be fine. Right now, that Battle Pass, unacceptable, just 100%. And they know that. Yeah. So they got to fix all that. And they've already taken some steps to do it, to make it better. But there's still a lot of work to be done on that end.
Mm. Do you play this a lot with friends, family, Paris, like the old days of Halo, or are you just more like?
Honestly, you know? I've been focused on this campaign. I've not played as much as I want to, but I think now that we got the campaign done, the review, all that, you know, I obviously in the next few weeks, holiday, I'll definitely be jumping in playing a lot more.
Hey man, if you want to join in and play with us, let us know, man. You know, it's good. It's a lot of fun, man.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, let's talk about our sponsor for this episode of Gamertag Radio, and that's Storyworth. This holiday season, I want to give a gift to my loved ones that makes them feel special and unique, just like a relationship we share. That's why I'm giving everyone I care about Storyworth. Storyworth is an online service that helps you and your loved ones preserve precious memories and stories for years to come. It is a thoughtful and meaningful that connects you to those who matter most. Every week, Storyworth emails your relative or even a friend a thoughtful, provoking questions of your choice from the vast pool of possible options. Each unique prompt asks questions you never thought of to ask, like what's the bravest thing you ever done in your life? Or if you could see into the future, what would you like to find out? Plus, there's going to be so many different other options. Hey, you could ask some cool questions that I think this would be great for your friends and family. Plus, after a year, Storyworth will compile all your loved ones' stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book that you were able to share and revisit for generations to come. I have a really cool story. You know, years back, I went to Dominican Republic. You know, my grandmother passed away. And when I went to her room, I found tons and tons of pictures of not only me, but also my family. We were all young and living in New York City and also in Miami. And I think this is a great way for me to also use this service and ask questions to my family members. And we could create an awesome book that we're going to be sharing this not only for us, but also for our kids in the future. Now, reading the weekly stories helps connect you with your loved ones, no matter how near or far apart you are. My family they're all over the place right now. They're in the Dominican Republic, in New York City, and also Miami. And look, I'm living here in Los Angeles, and I'm going to take advantage of this because I want to create that book and share that with my family. So you could also do the same thing. So here's how. Call to action. With Storyworth, I'm giving those I love most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. So GTR listeners, take advantage of this right now. Go to storyworth.com/GTR and save $10 on your first purchase. That's right. Storyworth.com/GTR to save $10 on your first purchase. We'd like to thank Storyworth for supporting this episode of Gamertag Radio.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
Lots of fun. And you know what has been addicting? I'm not going to lie. I've been changing my character a lot. Every time I unlock something new again, it takes forever to upgrade because of the progression in the game. Yeah, like the thing I have to get used to is just doing the challenges because I don't even look at them at all. I just play and whatever unlocks. But because I know every Tuesday that's when they start adding new challenges there for the weekly challenges, and they could take You can finish it in a couple days or so, depending how which challenge you're gonna do. But I've been doing that, and I just love the Fiesta playlist. For those who don't know, Fiesta is every time you play the game, there is a new weapon. It's random. You know what you're gonna get, and that's for a 4v4 playlist. So when you die, you come back, you have a totally different secondary and primary weapon every single time. And it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I unlocked a lot of challenges through there, and I also unlocked a lot of cosmetics. So that's one playlist that I would love to see available in the future. There's already there, and I could just choose it because it's so much fun, man. And it's even better playing it with friends too, man. So like last night, I was playing it for like a good hour just with random players, and I had my mic off, and it was still a lot of fun. So highly recommend it, man, for you guys to try it out. Paris, anything else from the campaign and also multiplayer, man?
Cause this should be more focused on campaign and multiplayer, so I'll just end this by saying with campaign, I think it's really good. Is it great? I think it falls just short of greatness, but I think the potential of the future of what they'll be able to add to the game, again, listening to feedback, what we like, what we don't like, there's potential to obviously continue having adventures on Zeta Halo in that world with that sandbox where I think the gameplay loop is fantastic. I think people will have an absolute blast playing the campaign. I think the story does the job of making me care because I do care again, which after 5, I did not. We're missing co-op for sure. I didn't think we would, but I realized halfway through playing, we do. We needed to co-op here. So that is an unfortunate thing. And we got a long wait until we get it. So hopefully by the time we do get it, that'll almost feel like it'll revitalize the game again. And like I said, hopefully they'll have some new objectives and things that we can do in a co-op setting. But overall, I enjoyed my time with it. Absolutely worth your time being able to play this campaign. I'm going to be fascinated to see what the community thinks about the story and just where things are headed with this universe. But I will say overall, Halo is back. I think this is absolutely a redemption for 343. I think like they have finally made Halo their own, and the mistakes of the past, while we will not forget them, it's time to move on from them. And let's see where Halo goes in the future. I think it is in good hands. I think there's definitely some talented people over there at 343 that have learned from their mistakes, and they've crafted Halo Infinite into being something really good. And I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, 100%. Halo is back, and one thing we haven't even mentioned, Paris, is the voice acting in the game. Top notch. Even the grunts, dude. I'm there hiding, just listening to their conversation. Hilarious. Again, it reminds me so much of Halo 1, where you just stand there and you hear the grunts and just all of them just talking about things that's happening, like if it's work. Even one of them, they saw me, right? And one of the grunts was like, "Oh my God, I should have taken a day off from work." I'm like, "Oh God," like it's hilarious. But yeah, I 100% agree, Paris. I think Halo is back. If you're a fan of the old school Halo, this is for you. And even for those that have never played Halo, I think you guys are gonna get so addicted. Not only playing with the campaign, but also the multiplayer. And again, at the end of the day, games is all about having fun. And for me, I'm having a blast with this game. A blast. And yeah, this game could be in our top games of the year because we have one more episode of GTR. We definitely we're gonna be talking about it, man. So, but shout out to 343. You guys, the whole team did a great job with this, and also shout out to Joseph because I was actually talking to him and I was showing him around at work, and we talked a lot about Halo Infinite, man. So he's a cool dude, man. I never sat down with him before, Paris, and had conversations like this in the past. Cool guy, man. And that's one thing I have to say, that was a very smart thing that Microsoft did to bring him back, because he's also one of the co-creators of Halo, man. And shout out to him and the whole team. All right, Paris. Anything else before we wrrap it up?
No,
Want to promote something? Do you have anything coming up? Do you like to talk about? I know we're gonna go to the Game Awards later this week. I'm very excited about that because there's people we haven't seen in years.
Yeah,
and this is gonna be the first in-person event for our industry. And so I'm very excited about
can I
that.
point out something really
Yeah,
quick
sure.
as we end? You literally asked me if I had anything to say, and then you proceeded to just take over the conversation. I just want to point that out.
Of course,
Just
I'm back,
wanna point
Paris.
that out.
I'm
Yes.
back. If Halo's back, I'm back. There you go.
No, it's the same. It's the same. I mean, I'm very excited for the Game Awards. Like you said, there's people like one person I was talking to earlier this week. I have not seen her since E3 2015, which is crazy.
Wow.
And then the last big in-person thing, a gaming thing I was able to go to was the Game Awards in 2019. So it has been 2 years, having those in-person conversations. So I'm just very excited to see people. Look, the awards is great and all that. I'm there for the people. so I'm so excited for it. Yeah.
Same here. And behind the scenes, Paris, we have like some little a bet of some games that might show at the awards. So let's see who wins, Paris.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see who wins. No, it's good. It's good. Everyone, head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. You also could find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, and also post a review. If you'd like to be part of our family discussion, or maybe you have some opinion about Halo Infinite, here's how you could contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
Also, before we wrap it up, thank you everyone for posting your Spotify 2021 Wrapped. A lot of people have been posting like their top podcasts, and then I got to see Gamer Tag Radio. Also, Paris, shout out to you guys, man. SCast, I've been seeing that too, and kind of funny. So it was really cool seeing that everywhere, man. People posting their favorite podcasts of the year, man. That was awesome. Really, really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to see.
Yeah, awesome, man. All right, everyone. Until next time, remember, we have one more episode before we take our holiday break. And we'll be back here with hopefully with the whole crew, because this is the last episode. So we're gonna get to see Paris, also P. If P is not on tour or on vacation somewhere out there around the world, we'll see. But we'll be back here next week. Until next time, peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.